This episode contains discussions of many sexual topics. Listen at your own discretion. It is Friday, the 24th of January, 2025. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. Today we're talking about broken social scene again. You may recall previously we talked about Cause Equals Time and anthems for a 17-year-old girl. Today we're talking about their song Lover's Spit. It's on the same album as both of those songs because that's their best album and one of my favorite albums of all time, and I'm working my way through a lot of the songs on it. This song was always one of the ones I liked because it's very much the kind of style I like, but there is another version of it as well because it's like a slow jam rock song sort of thing, but there's a different version of it from their EP Bee Hives, which was released the year after the album. It's like a complete reimagining of the song, with it mostly being piano based and having Feist on vocals instead of Kevin Drew, and it's also incredible. Again, this is a case of I recommend both versions. They're both great for different reasons. I personally right now am going to listen to the original album version, but I do recommend the Feist version if you want to check that out as well, because it's very good. Anyway, let's go listen to it now and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. And that was Lover's Spit by Broken Social Scene. There's a bit of debate on what exactly Lover's Spit is referring to. People can't decide if it's supposed to be metaphorical, or if it's about saliva, or if it's about semen, or just general ejaculate. I think it makes sense that it's kind of all three, frankly. But the song is kind of about meaningless sex and wanting romance rather than just sex, you know what I mean? So I love how the original album version is just like like it comes in fully complete, whereas the version with Feist is just the piano and the drums come in the second verse, and it's really nice. I love both versions. Anyway, let's go into the lyrics, shall we? All these people drinking lover's spit, they sit around and clean their face with it, and they listen to teeth to learn how to quit, tied to a night they never met. You know, it's time that we grow old and do some shit. I like it all that way. I like it all that way. So, all these people drinking lover's spit, all these people making out and fucking, they sit around and clean their face with it. Like, they're so engrossed in it that it's just like everything they do, you know? They listen to teeth to learn how to quit. I always thought that was an odd one. Someone on Genius said, like, well, it's hard to communicate if you're kissing someone, so you have to kind of communicate non-verbally through your teeth. Anyway, tied to a night they never met. So that implies like one night stands, or like people picking someone up at a bar and not really getting to know each other before they do things, you know? Or they don't remember it if they're drunk. And then, you know, it's time that we grow old and do some shit. I like it all that way. I like it all that way. So that's him saying, I don't want just this lover's spit. I want to actually grow old and live together, do some shit. It's kind of a funny juxtaposition of a mature idea with an immature phrase. And then just, I like it all that way. And then the second verse, all these people drinking lover's spit, swallowing words while giving head. They listen to teeth to learn how to quit, take some hands and get used to it. So this is, you know, the first verse you can argue lover's spit is saliva, and this one it's very explicitly semen because he says swallowing words while giving head. So of course head is a popular euphemism for oral sex, and there's the whole thing about spitting or swallowing semen, and then swallowing words while giving head is kind of, it's a crude image, but it's saying like rather than sitting, talking, getting to know each other, they're just swallowing their words, right? And it's kind of comparing that to swallowing semen, you know, but it ties in the whole thing together because it's like, you know, that they're sitting around and cleaning their face, so they're tied to a night they never met, and then they're swallowing words while giving head. Like it's just this whole thing of like he's kind of being like a cynical old man saying all these young lovers not getting to know each other, not actually falling in love, they're just all about, you know, having sex and nothing else, and herder and I want someone to settle down with, you know. And then the final verse is all these people drinking lover's spit, they sit around and clean their face with it, you know, it's time that we grow old and do some shit. I like it all that way. I like it all that way. I like it all that way. So it's basically the same as the first verse, but he says I like it all that way again. The Feist version changes it slightly by having like after the first piano bit there's kind of a pause and she goes no. But that's like the only real lyrical change. So, you know, not much lyrics to this song and not much to talk about because it's mostly the same all the way through in both versions. But I really like how different they are to each other, and even vocally as well, because you have a man and a woman depending on the version. I also love at the end of this song, after he finishes singing, you have kind of like the trombone and stuff going like like a little sounds at the end. It's just great. And then at the end, as happens with so many songs in this album, the song like goes away but doesn't quite end. And then after a while you hear like on the drums, like presumably it's the drummer like standing up and like laying his sticks down or something, or just like being like, and that was the end of the take, like, but just interesting when people leave that in. I guess, I mean, it's such a long song, but I guess it's gonna be a short episode because it's not that many lyrics and they kind of repeat themselves. It is interesting reading people interpret this because people sometimes take it way too literally or sometimes take it way too metaphorically, but I think it's kind of that mix of the two things. Like, it's Lover's Spit is talking about saliva, it's talking about ejaculate, but it's also just like talking about the kind of the temptation of sex and the emptiness of just like empty sex with no romance is the idea of it, And it's not that sex with no romance is inherently a bad thing. It's just that he's saying that's not what he wants, and he wants to get past this like reckless, youthful stage of his life, and he wants to grow old with someone and do some shit, And it's nice. I really like it. It's kind of like inherently sad, but also not particularly. Yeah. Possibly my favorite song on the album. I do really like Anthems for a 17-Year-Old Girl and Cause Equals Time, but yeah, no, I really like this song. I guess that's pretty much it. It's going to be a short-ass episode. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below, tell me what you think, tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.
Or just general ejaculate. I just saluted. So of course, this episode contains discussions of many sexual topics. Listen at your own discretion.